Now we are just 15 minutes away from the start of today's European equity session. Let's get over to our man he was in Cyprus, but I think he's in London today. Marshall Gittler is a regular guest here on Bloomberg. He's head of global FX strategy at IronFX. Marshall, a very good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Marshall, I want to talk about the ruble. The ruble is rising today. As we know, yesterday at one point it had its biggest intraday decline since 1999. You say the ruble's in big trouble. How big?
Well, obviously the country's main export is oil, and the price of oil is collapsing. The government's budget deficit is going to widen, and there's huge capital flight. You add that to the sanctions and the continual freezing of Russia out of the international community, and people just don't have an incentive to invest in Russia. Their main product, the price of their main product is falling. It's really a disaster for them. Now,
how low could the
price of the ruble, of course, has collapsed, as you say.
And how low could it go, Marshall?
How low could it go? Well,
50 is where we are today.
Yes, it's quite dramatic. I think it fell something like over 20% in 5 days. That's just a parabolic movement, and some reaction, of course, is due. The problem is, if you look at the technicals, we're just in uncharted territory. So there's no resistance line or anything. From a PPP basis, it was already well undervalued. I think it was 20% undervalued even before this recent collapse started. So it's very much undervalued. But it's just a matter of sentiment. It's a matter of capital flows. It's a matter of people panicking to get their money out of Russia. So I don't think there's any particular limit. The thing is, with oil prices stabilizing and perhaps some reaction coming back in the market, some mean reversion, it's quite reasonable that we would see some firming of the ruble temporarily. But I think it can still go lower.
How do currency investors, Marshall, how do currency investors position themselves in this era of lower oil prices? What do you recommend?
Well, I think you've got to look at who's going to be the beneficiary and who's going to be hurt. Obviously, Russia's going to be hurt. Canada's probably going to be hurt. Australia is likely to be hurt, even though it doesn't actually produce that much oil. It's a big coal producer. The commodity currencies are going to be hurt. And on the other hand, some of the commodity oil importing countries, some of the emerging market countries that were just shunned by the currency investors, are going to benefit. Turkey, Poland, South Africa yesterday was the biggest the best performing currency in the market. All of these currencies that are net oil importers are going to benefit, and I think some of them have been really hit very hard by the markets. There's a lot of upside in them, and the dollar, of course. The U.S., although it's a major oil producer, is also a major oil importer.
Marshall, I just showed a chart which showed Mario Draghi, the ECB president's favorite gauge, the 5-year inflation swap rate, showing inflation expectations in the euro area. It's almost at a record low. What's the most we can expect from the ECB? The rhetoric's been sort of moved higher, hasn't it, in recent weeks, from the likes of Draghi, from the likes of Constantio. What's the most we can expect from the ECB on Thursday?
Yes, they've been promising a lot. They've been saying that if things get worse, they're willing to do more. They've been talking very seriously about quantitative easing. I don't think that they are planning on doing anything more at this meeting, though. A week after the meeting, they get the results of the latest targeted long-term refinancing operation. I don't think they would take another step just a week before they get that additional information. I think they'll want to see that, and then maybe in January, February, after they've seen how things are going and how the oil price develops, maybe then they'll take some action. Personally, I don't expect them to do anything at this meeting, which could boost the euro a little bit temporarily.
Has the euro for the time being found its lows, Marshall? I mean, it's at 124. It's been a little bit lower, but it's bouncing along the bottom. What can push the euro towards 120 and down?
Yes, it's been just sort of range trading for the last couple of days. I think it's in there firmly. Yes, what would we need to see another kick down? If the ECB surprises me, and it's certainly possible they pulled rabbits out of hats before, then I think we could see something else. If they do make a firm statement saying yes, at such and such a time we will begin quantitative easing, then yes, I think we could see a further leg down. The bad PMIs yesterday, though, didn't push it lower, so I'm not sure any fundamental economic news would have that much of an impact.
Marshall, great to chat to you. See you soon. Marshall Gittler, there, head of global FX strategy at IronFX.
Thank you for inviting me.